Kabane Kusaka is a 13-year-old boy who is emotionally blind. He doesn't know how to process or express any emotions, making him look like a robot. His childhood has been anything but easy. His parents abandoned him to his aunt's care, who makes him do field work and forbids him from attending school. To top it off, his cousin, Yutaro, and other villagers also frequently humiliate him because of his strange odor. One day, his aunt invites the occult detective Kahachi and Ugami to stay at her villa, and Kabane brings his breakfast to the detective's room. He then reveals that he is aware that Nugami came to investigate his aunt's livestock, which strangely rots away at every new moon, and he is the one in charge of burying the corpses, giving Inugami the clue that the culprits should show up in 5 days. For many days, Ugami accompanied Kabane on his field work, completely unfazed by his repugnant smell. But then, Inugami tells Kabane the secret of his necklace. It's a precious stone called a life stone, a sign that Kabane's parents cared for him and didn't abandon him. The realization of this changes everything for Kabane. It spurs him on to accepting Ugami's offer of help to find his parents. On the new moon day, Kabane eagerly waits for Inugami's arrival, only to be confronted by his cousin, who is envious of his closeness with Inugami. In a fit of bitter jealousy, Yutaro snatches the life stone away, prompting Kabane, who, in a fit of rage, transforms into a monstrous figure. Yotaro runs from the scene in fear, abandoning the life stone, and Kabane, who, upon regaining possession of the stone, returns to his normal self. Upon Inugami's arrival, Kabane is surprised to learn he is a kimono, a magical being who has mystical capabilities and is also half human and half cool. He assures Kabane that his life stone keeps him in control. The two manage to rescue Yotaro in the nick of time as Inugami shoots and decapitates a murderous dog ghoul, and Kabane chops off the head of another with an axe. Suddenly, a monstrous year appears, and Inugami shoots, but it keeps on regenerating. That is until Kabane steps forward and, with a mighty grip, rips its head off and kills it while bringing Yotaro back home. Inugami opens fire on Kabane after revealing that his aunt was aware of his identity and ordered his death. Much to their surprise, Kabane arises alive and well. He gets to know that he is an immortal demon. He has the power to regenerate and can now have a fresh start since his aunt thinks he is dead. Inugami takes Kabane to his office in Tokyo, where he meets 2 other members of his agency, Spider Kimono Shiki and Snow Kimono Akira. Inugami asks Kabane if he would like to join the Kimono Detective Agency and gives him time to consider it. The group goes to the old house to investigate the situation and discovers that a mother and child are trapped in a room. Inugami quickly informs them that the area is infested with Sanchi buffs. He tells everyone they need to obtain an item that these bugs prize and return it to their nest to release the captives. Kabane then offers his help. After a failed rescue attempt, he enters the room, and the Sanchi bugs are ready to devour and paralyze him. But since he is an immortal demon, none of this affects him. Kabane then removes the bug's favorite item from the room, a pair of shoes. The group soon learns that the shoes were stolen by a young boy's brother in order to give them to their mother as a gift. Even after the boy revealed this, his regrets still lingered in the air. Kabane was stirred by the bond of family, and with determination, he asked Inugami to help him find his own. The next day, the trio visits Yoko Inari, the head of the Metropolitan Police Station, but only Taban, a blonde girl, takes Kabane to the meeting room. Inari introduces herself with an emotional story and explains that a kimono feeds on human emotions. But she no longer needs to rely on humans due to the power of her life stone, which prevents kimono's bloodthirst and no longer requires them to rely on humans. Pawn unexpectedly chops off Kashane's head and places it in a briefcase to prevent it from regenerating. In a race against time, Kabane's friends launch a daring attempt to rescue him. In a heart-pounding moment, Shiki hesitates before taking a leap of faith and throwing Kabane's head to land on Khan's shoulder in one swift, rage-filled attack. Kabane manages to bite off her arm and injure her. After the fight, Kabane regenerates his body, and the group reports back to Inugami. The next day, Kanebe and Akira follow Inugami's orders to search a tunnel to put an end to the construction workers' deaths caused by the frog kimonos. As they walk in the tunnel, Akira reveals to Kanebe's heartbreaking story of being separated from his twin brother while running away from a snowy village where male births only occur once in 100 years. With his newfound determination, Akira confides in Kanebe that he seeks to become brave like him and his brother. Suddenly, Akira is interrupted and attacked by a frog kimono. But before he gets the chance, Kanebe has sprung into action and saved Akira by striking the frog with a metallic pipe. They then pour a bottle of blood into the river as instructed by Inugami, and just like that, several frogs appear. Akira is scared and ducks into a corner, but Kanebe is ready to fight. He punches and rips the frogs with his bare hands and bravely defends Akira from any attack. By watching Kanebe be so brave, Akira is able to muster up the courage to unlock his own power and freeze the enemies and come out victorious. Kanebe is on his way the next day when he runs into Kan in the park, broken and crying. She has been abandoned by Inari, and it seems she has nowhere to go. To lift her spirits, Kabane challenges her to a fight, and they exchange blows. Suddenly, Kan lunges at Kanebe and punches him again and again. Kabane then retaliates with extreme force, pushing her away. Kan weeps, overwhelmed by her own weakness, but Kanebe doesn't judge her. Instead, he consoles her, and at that moment, a deep friendship is born between the two of them. Before leaving, Kanebe promises Kan that he will return. Mahi orders the trio to infiltrate the Bug-Bite Electronic Company's plant and investigate why their employees' auto-deletion rate has suddenly dropped to 0. Shiki goes inside the building to investigate while Kanebe and Akira wait outside. He soon reports back with the startling news that the company manager, Rika, is, in fact, a mosquito kimono in disguise, working with her sisters to suck the brains out of their employees, effectively leaving them unable to think and delete themselves. Kanebe and Akira rush into the building when they realize Chiki is in danger, but their progress is quickly blocked by Momoka, one of the mosquito kimonos. Kanebe defeats her without breaking a sweat. When they arrive, they find out that Shiki has already taken down the remaining mosquito kimonos. Just then, the elder sister Rika appears and attempts to negotiate, but Kanebe refuses to back down. Rika, furious, sucks the brains out of both her sisters and transforms into a hideous, scary mosquito. Kanebe tries to punch her, but she holds his wrists tightly and stabs him. Desperate to protect Kanebe, Shiki rushes forward, only to be roughly thrown away and injured. Desperate, Kanebe does whatever he can to break Rika's grip, even if it means harming himself. That's when Kanebe hears Mahi's voice instructing him to use his inner kimono strength. He then ruthlessly rips Rika's hand apart, inflicting a devastating injury on her. But his job was only to investigate. Their sudden respite was short-lived as a kimono named Nabamaru, working under Inari, appeared and burned the mosquito kimonos to ashes to hide the event from the humans. Before he departs, Nabamaru secretly confides in Kanebe that Inari is still after his life stone. The next morning, Kanebe remembers his promise to Kan, and now he is finally ready to meet her. The four of them venture to Shiki's hometown to learn of his parents' whereabouts from his uncle, Akio Maru. After a private conversation, Shiki shares the sorrowful news that his parents are gone. To find light in the mood, the four of them decide to go and watch fireflies in the nearby forest. Just as the beauty of the moment begins to sink in, Shiki starts to recall a distant memory and quickly rushes into the woods. Kabane and the others follow him until they reach an old cabin where they find Chiki in a state of shock from his traumatic experience. Nabamaru inspects what appears to be an artificial insemination catheter. Nabamaru concludes that it must be an experiment site where they were attempting to produce the mythical golden spiderweb, which has the power to cure anything with its healing silk. Nabamaru further reveals that Inari is determined to keep the healing silk from being sold and is in search of a man named Akio Maru, who is responsible for its creation. It all starts to make sense to Shiki, who now realizes that his uncle must have used his own mother in the experiments to make the healing silk. Shiki turns to Kabane, asking for help to kill his uncle. With Inugami's help, they manage to get a confession from Akio, the man responsible for this. Upon hearing his confession, Chiki rages and attacks him with his web, squeezing the life out of him. Suddenly, hundreds of creepy spider kimonos descend upon them. Akio reveals that each and every one of these kimonos is a failed product of his experiment with Shiki's mother. They are Shiki's siblings. Upon hearing this news, Shiki is overwhelmed with pain, misery, and grief. In desperation, he begs Kanebe to help using his powerful kimono powers. Kanebe bravely jumps into action, unleashing his inner kimono, savagely crushing the heads of each approaching kimono with his bare hands. But his challenge is far from over, as a colossal spider kimono has arrived to wreak havoc. Without fear, Kanebe attacks him, obliterating his eyes with a single punch. He continues to battle fiercely, destroying all the kimonos, even losing one of his hands in the fight, only to later regenerate it. He grabs Akio and looks to Shiki for the final decision. Does he want Akio dead? Shiki chooses compassion, accepting that nothing he does will bring his mother back. The group is in for a surprise when suddenly a young girl named Aya arrives. With Inugami's help, she found the location of Shiki's mother, who had been hidden away by Akio all this time. After rescuing Akio's mother, Kumi, it is revealed that Aya is Shiki's sister and the golden spider web is from Akio's experiment. During the next couple of missions, Akira keeps making clumsy mistakes and decides to run away. The group goes to investigate a mysterious ice castle that suddenly appeared. There, they find a suspicious young man named Huey, who tries to harm them. Luckily, Inugami intervenes in time and explains that Huey is under the influence of a nullstone, a stone that can destroy and revive barren lands, and that he could be Akira's brother. Realizing the danger, the group quickly retreats, but Huey's powers come into action, and instead of killing them all, he freezes the crew in a way that spares their lives. Kabane manages to break out of the ice and encounters Akira in the castle. He confides in Akira, discussing plans to defeat his brother. Surprisingly, Akira reveals that it was he who had requested his brother to freeze them. Taking a harsh tone, Akira confesses his hate towards Kanabe and leaves with his brother. Kabane is left confused and saddened. Huey appears, aiming to freeze Kabane again, but Akira intervenes, taking his brother and leaving. Inari then appears, asking Kabane to steal the nullstone for answers about his parents. But Kabane refuses, opting to save Akira instead. When Kabane arrives, he saves Nabamaru from Huey's icicle attack and interrupts their fight. With courage and determination, they devise a plan to defeat Huey. Nabamaru ignites Kabane's body with flames to protect him from Huey's freezing power. This gives Kabane the advantage as he burns Huey's arms. However, Huey proves to be too strong for Kabane and uses his own shield of ice to repel him. Huey then persists in blocking Kabane's fiery barrage with his shield of ice, igniting another round of heavy blows. At Kabane's request, Nabamaru increases the flame level, allowing Kanabe to break through Huey's ice barriers and deliver decisive strikes. But then, just as he is about to land the final blow, Akira appears to stop him from continuing their fight. They all notice Huey's body slowly wasting away as the nullstone sucks away his energy. Kabane sacrifices his own life stone to cancel the effects of the nullstone and save Huey's life. The next day, Akira apologizes to Kabane for his lies of hating him, which he said to protect Kabane from fighting his brother. When Kabane visits Huey, he thanks him for his brave act and reveals that the kimono stone, like his own life stone, has been used by powerful kimonos since ancient times to maintain harmony between the human and kimono worlds. This could only mean that one of his parents had been a prestigious kimono chief. With newfound answers, Kanabe and his friends go on a journey to find his parents. Watch this next video. See you on